In this video, I want to talk about the famous painting, Creation of Adam by Michelangelo, and then we're going to look at some music related to it and some poetry as well. So first of all, this is the painting that Michelangelo created. It's in the Sistine Chapel. It represents that biblical moment where God creates Adam. You know, that story of Adam and Eve. Well, here's God and here's Adam, and God does this little touch right here, boom, and Adam is created. Now, in the Bible, they don't really write it like that. This is how Michelangelo pictured it. And there's a tremendous tenderness to this touch and the way the hands are. The touch is as light as can be. And in this whole painting, arguably the most celebrated moment is, in fact, when the hands touch. And this crack is a literal crack on the wall because the painting is so old. But there's a tenderness in this touch. Instead of seeing it only as a religious moment from a Bible, what I wanted to do is juxtapose it and look at it as, well, it really looks like this is how people who are intimate with each other would touch, if they are really intimate and gentle and tender. And of course, some people will debate, like, is this a man and a man or a man and a woman, whatever. In this case, let's not get into the debate about that, and let's leave it as love is love. And in my song, I did write it for a male protagonist and a female character. I want to show you how I wrote the poetry for this, and I really love some of the poetry. Like, if you ask me what parts of your poetry that you've written are you very proud of, I will actually show you what I'm about to show you. Here's this poem, Oh Michelangelo. I'll have it linked as a downloadable in the resources of this video. But what I want to show you is how the song builds, and then I want to show you a couple of lines that I, as a person who wrote it, it's a little bit not modest, but I myself honestly geek out. I can't believe that I wrote some of the lines here. But first, let's just enter the poem. Poets go mad describing the light you emanate. For centuries they broke their quills. In other words, they broke their quills trying to describe the beauty of this woman, and now it's my fate to try to describe the beauty of this woman with my quill. In other words, with my writing. But instead of writing, I can paint you worlds with my caress, right? That very same caress from Michelangelo. This very touch right here, that kind of a touch. So I say, but I can paint you worlds with my caress, so I touch the back of your shoulder as you undress, right? Immediately takes it out of that painting world and into the modern setting. And then there's a chorus. The chorus basically says, Michelangelo painted God and Adam in the sky. Oh, Michelangelo, in the painting, I see my love and I. Instead of God and Adam, I see my love and I. And then this next verse is the one that I really like. My fingers gliding along your silhouette, you're breathing with me, our souls have met. And then the next two lines are even better. Our eyes close as my fingers track, kind of like with this caress, right? My fingers track new Sistine Chapels along your back. And I thought that just as a couple of lines of poetry, our eyes close as my fingers track new Sistine Chapels along your back. If you picture like this kind of long strokes of caress, that as a metaphor here, we imagine that I'm recreating the Sistine Chapel, which is a place where this painting actually is. I thought it's a really cool piece of imaginative imagery that also has a lot of context and layers of context. And again, you would say it's not modest for me to point out, oh, I like this lines, but really I'm just sharing because privately to myself, I like these lines that I wrote. So let me actually play the song for you a little bit, just so you can get a feel for it. And what's interesting here is if I search for Oh Michelangelo, Alex Kinedinek and Touched by a Song. Touched by a Song is kind of my new channel, and I recently released this song, and the old channel I had was like a really older version, 2 years ago. I actually wrote this song a long time ago, but it wasn't good. Like, the song wasn't good. And I'm not saying the song is good now, but certainly it's better than before. So actually, if you want to hear how I got better, you're welcome, because this kind of song is not as good in creating the video, not as good at singing, not as good at composing, etc. But this is an interesting one. And I really also like the thumbnail. See, it says, see how it's repainted with music, which is kind of intriguing, I thought. But anyway, let's listen for a second. And I didn't want to play the whole song for you. You get the idea. And I kind of like a few of the images, like our souls touch, where souls touch. I like that as an imagery for this. Like if you were to ask, how would you phrase this? How would you verbalize this moment? It took me a long time and a lot of brainstorming with people. And then it's like, oh, souls are touching, really. And I really like this idea of hearts in heaven while we're still on earth below. These lines, the imagery in them, to be honest, took me like a long time each one to come up with, because I was like, how do I express this? And it really took a while for that moment to be like, oh, that's how. So quite a bit of work. And just to wrap up, really, what I wanted to do with this song, and actually with this video that I'm making for you, is to give you dimensions, because we can look at the paintings. And of course, it's a timeless painting. Once you see this, you're changed as a human being. That's the power of genius. That's, again, the gift of enrichment you give yourself. You fundamentally change yourself when you experience this moment of tenderness and know it's possible. But actually, we took this a few levels further, right? We kind of riffed on it with the poem, and we riffed on the poem with the song in an attempt to bring it all to life and experience it all in a richer way when it's all together. And again, I'll have the link to the Wikipedia of the painting, and I'll have the link to my song, and I'll have the lyrics available in the resources of this video.